Hello and welcome to a new set of character journals for the Tainted Lands Ordeal of Omen. My name's Lewis and I play as Wallace McDonald on the stream. This was our first session back after about a month-long hiatus, and it was great to get back into it. So essentially, after the happenings in Black Sands with the Blackstone Mercenary Company dealing with this plague, we took some downtime. Wynne managed to get some work with Harwin at the Chapel of Tomes and learn some stuff with them. Wallace, on the other hand, he took some time to get some tattoos to kind of reflect on everything that had happened so far with the group, and even learned a bit of tattooing himself. He also bought an apron. I got an apron of mind shielding. And yeah, he spent kind of just downtime reflecting, healing up. It was a pretty nasty encounter that they got into. And Sir Kay, after being knighted and whatnot, he was gifted some land. Crow's Moat, a place that was burnt down, and a place that we'll probably look to rebuild on and establish once we've kind of dealt with some of the things that we're doing right now. And we set sail on the Kraken to Morden Island. Now, while we do have pressing matters, hunting down Ragnar at World's End, we thought it was concerning that the servitors of Malador had, breached the city. And so we took the Kraken to Morden Island, and that is when raging storms plagued us. And that's when the ship crashed, and we found ourselves awash at a beach with black sands. We had our stuff safe in the bag of holding, but it was quite a scary experience, especially for Wallace. He's travelled far and wide, being from Ironholm himself. He's no stranger to, travelling long distances, but as far as travelling by boat is concerned, that's something rather new to him. And so after they washed up, we kind of regrouped. We looked for, our options. We were set to dock in the small village of Omen. We didn't really have a guide. I don't even know if Morden is dead or not. Morkant is dead or not. The man that we found who was going to smuggle the servitors of Malador out of Black Sands, and we've essentially wanted to hire him for the Blackstone Mercenary Company as a smuggler. Everybody else that was aboard the ship can only be presumed to be dead. And so we found our way into the woods, and we found a sort of spot to set up camp before we noticed just this really thick webbing. Concerning, but we've seen worse, but we don't know what these lands are like. I for one had never been to this part of the world. I didn't know if there would be poisonous spiders, poisonous lizards, or what kind of monsters that we would encounter. And we eventually found our way to a quarry where we were met with first in between the sort of the shrubbery and the bushes, what seemed to be a deer skull with a web in between the antlers. And that's when Kay was under the effect of some sort of dark magic. He froze still, and that is when we were encountered with our foe, aptly named the Spider or the Tarantula. This hideous monster bore the face and sort of neck of a deer with the antlers, and had the body of a giant spider. And we learned quickly that it was not to be trifled with. Battle ensued, and we thought we were alone, but it would seem that something or someone was looking out for us in the shadows, coming in a whirlwind, getting hits in there, and then Wynne got tangled up pretty badly, and Cade ran off. I don't know if that was... I don't think it would have been down to fear. But there was definitely some magic at play. I tried to cut Wynne out, and that's when this thing reappeared to us. A 6'9" lizard folk who cast some magic, and a rope dropped. And we climbed up this rope into, well, what can only be described as another place. It was like the swamp that we were in, but different. We could see everything as if we were looking out of a window. And that's when They introduced themselves as Mox Draken. Their English, their common Dwarvish is not the best, but they were not hostile, seemed friendly. Told us that they knew the lands and they could potentially help us get to Omen, which was great. But I don't know. I would like to trust this person. Trust isn't something given easy. But from what I could gather from our brief conversation is that they have spent some time away from civilization, and they, well, let's just say I'm probably the first dwarf that they had seen, but not to matter. We travelled for some time, we spoke of things, we established that we were friends. I'm going to try and teach Mox to speak our language better. He really intrigues me, and it'll be interesting to see what happens when we finally get to Omen. There's so many questions. We're headed to the Abbey. That's where the servitors said that they were going to go. Could potentially be one of our first stops, although I am wary of raising suspicions around the town. We probably shouldn't scream our intentions about this place. I'm not sure how I'm going to play this. And I know that we've a long way from World's End, but this is a more concerning matter, and the fact that we survived through this plague and saved the city, well, it's been a lot to take in. I've certainly gained the benefits, more money than I've ever seen in my life. I lived humbly in a monastery for years, so it's certainly a nice change. We've come so far, and yet we've got so far to go. But there's no point in looking back, because we're not going that way. So that was the recap for session 1 of the Tainted Lands Ordeal of Omen. We made a friend and fought some of our DM's homebrewed monsters, and yeah, it looks like we're going to be heading into Omen in the next session. I'm really excited for that, and we hope to catch yous on Twitch, if not on YouTube. We stream on Monday nights, every second Monday at 8 PM Eastern Time, so if you can, then come and check us out. And if you watch this, then thank you for listening to me ramble for 7 or 8 minutes about our crazy game that we play in. So thank you.